see me down, see me anywhere.
Which is $1 American.
I'm gonna turn the freaks off. I mean the fans. Oh my God, Salad, you look like a painting of a beautiful lady. What's up? Wait,
not too much.
Let me set this up. There we go. We're gridding. I keep looking this way, and I feel you're an artist. You must know this looks wrong if I look this way. So I'm gonna force myself to look this way, because then I'm facing you. Oh, can you hear me, my friend?
Dude, I don't know my left from my right, and honestly, it's always confusing to me, so you're good.
My mom told me we were driving, and she goes, I don't know my left and right. And I said, how was I supposed to have any chance in this life? I learned because I had a wart on my left hand as a kid.
That's a good way to remember.
Yeah.
During my test, I wrote an L on my hand, so I would know which way to turn.
When I was in school, the teachers put an L on my forehead, but it was for loser. That's not true. They're asking if we're doing babe hour. They're saying your mullet rules. You're a beautiful, cool, savage motherfucker. I bet you never heard savage before. Well, I guess that's what the kids say now.
It's the haircut.
I think it looks awesome. I mean, I should get my mullet back so we could have a mullet crew. Everyone's going wild. They're loving you. Let's be professional. Here's the thing, because we're friends. So, but I have to treat this like I'm Larry King, because I'm dealing with not only Salad of Despair today, but Allison Russell.
That's me.
My friend, meet Allison Russell. Now, I thought I did a good description of you today in the Discord. I called you.
Summed it up pretty well.
Okay, I'll say it right now and more, and then we're gonna get you to give it a little introduction. Allison Russell, aka Salad of Despair, sick name, knitwear designer, textile artist, illustrator, and wonderful person. I said you're a machine knitting prodigy. And the chat is asking, what the hell does that even mean? Creative master and all-around boss. And I think that is the proper way to describe you right there. Would you agree?
Yeah, I feel like that covers most of the bases.
Let's jump right into what everybody's asking. What is a knitwear? What is a machine knitting knitwear designer?
Okay, so kind of glad I set up in this room. So the machine behind me is actually a knitting machine. They were super popular in like the 80s and 90s. There's a lot of different versions of them, but yeah, people kind of went bananas. That's, I think, why you see all those the old kind of weird sweaters with like the cats and shit on them that look a little fucked up. Most likely they were knitted on one of these machines. You can like make your own patterns with them, but yeah, they're super cool. So if you're hand knitting, you have like 2 needles and you do 1 stitch at a time. But on these machines, there's like a 200 needle bed, and you can do 200 stitches at once. And is that? I don't know if you can see that at all, but maybe not.
They think I'm typing. No, that is awesome. I actually Googled, and I was hoping you'd bring that machine out. I didn't think we'd be lucky enough to see it, because that thing looks huge.
Oh, it is.
Is it heavy?
I have like 5 of them.
Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, I need you to understand, this is a real thing. You can make a living off of this, and we're going to get into that. But it's a dying art, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. The YouTube videos are really sad, because it's always like some 1,000-year-old lady in her basement, like just being real sad and knitting cats on her machine.
I don't want to judge the ladies on YouTube, but they're always a little overweight too, and it looks like they're in a sweatshop.
Yeah. I'd say that, that covers it pretty well.
But it's because it's hard as hell to do. I was watching. Oh, everyone thinks I'm fucking with something. That's not me. That's not me.
Well, it might be me. Everything's a little like wobbly.
That's okay. I just want them to know that they're yelling. iRocket was yelling at me, but it looks complicated as hell. I have a YouTube video I can just pull into the screen and block me for a second. Look.
You tell me it's Roberta Rose Kelly. Is that who you picked?
I got Lenora Watts. Now I feel bad calling her big. Damn it. She looks like very beautiful. Shit. Okay, I'm going to hell. But I love big girls. Look how Oh wait, this wasn't the one I was looking at before, but look how complicated this is. And you do this.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. How long does it take to do anything on this?
Well, actually, like once you kind of learn how the basics kind of work, I mean, to be quite honest, like it took me probably 4 years to get very proficient, and I can like take the machines apart now and put them back together. Because that's another problem when you buy these. A lot of times they don't work or there's stuff wrong and you kind of have to troubleshoot. Or if something does go wrong, you have to troubleshoot because there's no one you can call to like really fix it. But yeah, I think to learn the basics, probably like 6 months to just get on it, be able to like knit some stuff, do a couple different like maneuvers with it. But yeah, to get proficient, it took a while.
That's I never even thought about who repairs these things, and so you can do that as well. That is so cool. It's such a dying art. You told me about this, but I did some Googling. There's the Long Island Machine Knitters Guild, and they're trying to continue this art.
Yeah, no, and I think so. When I lived in New York, the lady, I was calling people because I picked up my first one in Philadelphia and was in Philly for like 2 years and then moved up to New York and had been like practicing on it, but I had kind of hit a wall because they come with manuals and you can kind of like walk yourself through the manual pretty well, because I think that's how most people learned back in the 80s and 90s was you just like pick up the manual and kind of figure it out that way. But, you know, like a lot of stuff has changed and there's like electronic machines now. I don't know, you probably can't see it, but there's one next to this guy that's an electronic machine. But he has like a little computer attached to him. But it like, yeah, it takes a hot minute and people just, it takes a long time to learn. But I eventually like tracked down the lady who runs the Long Island Knitting Guild, and she took me under her wing and kind of showed me how to like actually do a lot of different stuff.
That is so cool. You know what? You got to tell her though, a lot of the links on her website are dead. So if she's trying to keep this art going alive, she's got to get she's got to update the site a little bit, because I think I actually have fallen in love with textile artists now because of you. I did some Googling today. We'll get more into that, but if I pull up your website, are a lot of these designs made on that machine behind you?
No, so yeah, it's a little confusing. My career actually started out as a textile artist, which is traditionally, I think, you know, pen on paper or pen on trackpad on the computer or like painting. And then you kind of clean up those designs in the computer and you send them off to a mill, where the mill will kind of break them down by colors and then screen print them. It's basically like repeatable screen printing is traditional like textile. Like that's what I would consider like a traditional textile designer, is just like drawing and then you send it off to a mill and they do like screen prints. So knitwear is like a completely separate situation, and I used to work at Urban Outfitters and I had joined the knit team as the textile designer, but eventually realized they had a knitting lab and they had a bunch of these machines in there, and it was like really up my alley because it also is kind of very much like pixel art, the way you would design pictures in knitwear. It's like kind of the same thing, but like a variation of. So you're not printing on the knit, you're actually knitting. And I have here, this might
oh yeah yeah, show the folks at home a little something. So you made that?
Yep, this was for my friend's kid, but then the like neck didn't fit and then I never fixed it. So I just kept it.
That is awesome. That looks so cool.
Was the machine behind me, but you can see everything's like it's all knit in. They're all like little stitches. Versus, do I have? I don't even have anything back here. But you know, like a screen printed T-shirt is like a textile type of thing versus like a knit in stitch thing, which is completely different. Another kind of like realm of things that you would learn in school.
That I just realized how dumb my question was. If because the
No, it's not
clearly
dumb at all.
clearly like if you're working for these big companies, you're not just hunched over making 100,000 of these things. Obviously, it's on the computer. But
Yeah,
this
I
this
mean,
is
it's
new.
not a dumb question at all. I think if you're not kind of like immersed in the world of like fashion or like graphic design, I think might even kind of know the subtle differences between the two. But if you're not in that world, like there's no fucking way you know the difference. The amount of people that are even in fashion that I've had to explain the difference between like a woven and a knit to is a little embarrassing.
Oh my god, I don't. Wait. Is woven? Is that? I don't even know. I don't even know. I have no
So
idea.
yeah, woven is when you like weave the strings over one another, and a knit is like kind of like linking and like pulling through strings together.
Do you guys have
Weave is like
beef?
over under, knit is like knots, I guess, for lack of a better
Does
term.
the knitting community have beef with the wooling community? Like you guys like are cooler?
No, but you know what? The hand knitters have beef with the machine knitters. If
Really?
you so there's a subreddit for knitting and there is a subreddit for machine knitting. And if you are a machine knitter and you post in the hand knitting thing, they will call you out.
Re- really? Are they
Yeah.
just jealous because like life is moving on and you know the well, I mean, moving to the 80s and 90s?
Faster. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I've gotten called out a couple times, but there was like another girl who was a machine knitter, and I don't think she knew, and she was posting a lot in the knitting, like the hand knitting community, and they didn't ban her, but they were like, you can't post here.
Oh, damn. They were just minutes away from sending a pipe bomb to her house. That's not true. But you know, okay, I want to talk about like your. I think you're so talented. We're gonna get into your websites and your Instagram as well. I think it's so cool that anybody who finds like a unique way to be happy and live a cool life and have a cool job. This is like bizarre and but awesome. So let's talk about your path to this. You if correct me if I'm wrong, but you were originally going to be a doctor?
Yeah, my parents were like very adamant that I get a degree in something that would make money and all that jazz. Like, I'm sure that's a familiar story to most people. So I had originally gone to college for pre med and was like 2 classes away from graduating. I had done a bunch of internships and I just like really fucking hated it. And the entire time that I had been in that program, I was always sewing. I'd always sewn. Um, Always like loved to draw and paint, and I just kind of realized like I don't think I want to go down this path, and eventually switched into there was a textile college where I went at the same college. There's like a textile program that actually was like it's a really good program, and ended up getting into that, and just I was like, oh, this makes way more sense for me. But
And
yeah, I eventually graduated with a textile degree, and then moved from North Carolina to LA.
that is a huge change. How mad were your parents, or were they supportive? Be honest.
My mom, I don't think really had. She couldn't care less, kind of. But my dad was displeased. I still remember calling him the day that I like made the decision and like had already switched at that point. He was furious.
Well,
I think
he
even now he's still kind of like
still.
doesn't think I have a real job, sort of.
Oh my god! Well, he had like the boat and the cottage life planned out. He had his weekends like retiring, hanging out with you,
And
all
he's like,
planned out.
oh my God, I'll stay in the pool house.
Yeah, exactly. And he wanted to be at the golf course, being like, "Oh, my doctor daughter." But
Yeah,
no,
no,
I
definitely, yeah.
absolutely. But I think this is way cooler. So, I didn't know there was a school for textiles. So is that like What does that consist of? Is that like mostly online stuff? Is that like InDesign, or is that like those programs, or it's straight up like
So
textiles?
yeah, this is kind of where it gets into the nitty gritty. And if you're not like in the fashion world or kind of somewhere orbiting fashion, it might be very foreign. So there are actually a lot of schools like Parsons in New York, FIT in New York, RISD in Rhode Island is another really great school. SCAD in South Carolina, another amazing school for arts in general, but specifically like fashion design, textile design, knitwear you can also do, and surface design, sort of like a general term for a lot of it. But yeah, fashion design is typically you're more focused on developing like the silhouette and the body shape. I am very uncomfortable doing that for some reason. I just like don't like. I don't have an eye for it, and I think I realized that really early on. I can like drape and make things look nice, but as far as just like churning out like mass, t-shirt shapes and like different body shapes and pant shapes, like that was not for me. Like I said, I'd always been really into painting and drawing, so textiles was kind of where I landed, and it made a lot of sense to me. And even within textiles, there's like material textiles where you can develop like nanotech textiles that you like get inserted into your body, like heart valves and stuff. That was like a program that they were working on in our college where developed like a non-woven is what it's called, but it basically would double as like a heart valve. So
Wait,
that's like another
like
part of it.
actually like in the
Yep.
body?
Yep. Like a
Jesus
lot of
Christ.
a lot of the stuff that I'm so like out of this realm at this point, but I know like valves they use, it's like a non-woven that they use now,
Oh
and
damn.
the original one was developed at our college, but I think a lot of that stuff is starting to be made out of like non-wovens, and it's like a material textile kind of offshoot, but it's really cool.
No,
Um,
yeah, that's cool.
but
Uh,
yeah, and then there's like that, and then textiles you have wovens that you can kind of like specialty area in, or you can specialty area in like knitwear. And then yeah, surface design is just kind of like a broad term for like I do cool shit on fabric.
yeah, that rules. I hung around a few of those girls in fashion school. They knew how to party. I'm glad you survived because some of them didn't make it.
Oh yeah,
Like some of
I'm glad I survived
a few of them
college.
just move out to the woods. Some of them party so hard they're in hospitals now. Like they were the most fun girls to party with, but I'm so glad you made it
Oh,
through.
yeah, the fashion and design kids, that's always where the best parties were at.
And the attitude, they're so like cool and they know it and they show it, and going to their parties can really take a strip off your back. That's
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
that's
there was
neither here
like
nor there.
an art house that we all used to go to, but it was all like the design kid. Like there was a big design college on our campus as well, but we'd always end up going to their like just like nasty, dirty house that they had and have
They're always
crazy
dirty.
parties.
The house is there's glass on the floor always.
They're always,
And
yeah,
oh,
it's like vomit and people dead bodies.
I think because
Not a cute.
that was the Terry Richardson era of cool. So it was just destroy, puke, yeah, break glass,
Yeah,
take pictures, lots of PBR.
yeah, yeah.
Good
God,
times.
I actually can't drink. When I turned 21, I stopped drinking beer. I actually do not think I've had a beer since I was 21.
Oh, God bless your
I
soul.
too much PBR
Yeah. Oh
pre 21.
God. And that's not good for the gut health either. The PBR. Our whole generation's going down. It's our generation smoking is Pabst Blue. Look at Shaken Out says she loves it. Oh, hey, Mr. Morocco. So after you graduated, you moved to LA. That's pretty effing cool.
Yeah, I mean, looking back on it, it was kind of fucking insane that I did that, but I mean, I fucking grew up in North Carolina. There wasn't going to be like an opportunity really for me in North Carolina. And I knew a lot of people that had moved up to New York and like had to sell their car and then move back in 6 months because they didn't have any money. And I was like, well, fuck it. Like, let me just go to LA. I think it's maybe a little bit easier out there. I think the like concentration of textile artists was a little bit, it seemed like there were more job opportunities in LA versus like in New York, where I think everyone who graduates from like, you know, like SCAD, you have the college I went to, and then you have RISD and then Parsons. Those are all like East Coast, kind of up near NYC. So I think a lot of people just kind of
gravitate
go up to New York for a job. So I ended up moving out to LA, got a job. Actually, the very first job I had, I worked with a seamstress who did like Oscar gowns.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I busted up J-Lo's room.
Oh.
She was staying at the like, I think it was like the Four Seasons or something, and I had to go drop her dress off, and it was like super awkward.
Did you talk to her? Well,
yeah, she like opened the door, and everything was white in her room, and I was like, "Wow, everything is very white in your room." And she was like, "Yeah, it's in the contract. It has to be." And I was
she
like,
said that? Wow.
Where's your dress? Yeah, it was really weird. I had a lot of really weird like run-ins with quasi-celebrities.
I was going to say, like, give me some celeb stories from LA, because you see them everywhere. I saw will.i.am walking down the street. It was way too hot for his jacket. So who's the worst one you've met?
The bad thing is I don't even know her name, but it was another, when I worked for the seamstress. I knew she was like a daytime soap opera. I also, like, up until very recently, just like pop culture kind of escaped me a lot. It wasn't a thing that I really paid a lot of attention to. So I'm sure there were other people that I met that were like celebrities, but I just kind of had no fucking clue. But yeah, this one lady.
That's a good way to live. That's a way better.
My boss was like, "Oh, take this, like, it wasn't dry clean, but like take these tailored clothes up to this lady. Here's her address." And I think I'd known she was like a daytime soap person, but don't remember her name outside of that or who she was. So I get up, and she's like up in the hills, and we were in West Hollywood, and it's like a fucking drive. It is like a drive. So I get up there. There's like 4 gates. You buzz the buzzer. The first gate opens. There's like another buzzer. And this is like a daytime soap. This is not like big name. Yeah, just like some random daytime soap person. Like finally get into like where the house is, grab like this huge stack of clothes. I'm like walking to the door, buzz the door. She opens it this much. And I'm like, "Hey, I'm here with like your tailored clothing. Like, can you please open the door so I can deposit this with you and leave?" And she's like being weird. She's not opening the door. She's like looking around, and she's like, "Did anyone follow you? Are there paparazzi out there? Like, is anyone behind you?" Like, she's just being like really weird. I'm like, "Lady, like, I'm on the fucking clock. You need to wrap this up. Like, take your shit so I can leave."
You don't even know who she is. Yeah, and she's thinking, oh.
No idea. And yeah, it goes on for, it's probably, I thought it was like 5 minutes, but it was probably like 30 seconds in actuality. And I'm just like, "Can you please just open the door so I can give you this shit?" And she eventually like opens the door, and like a herd of tiny little dogs run out.
Oh my God. So
and
LA.
she's
So
like
LA.
screaming at the dogs. And I'm like, "Here are your clothes." And she's like, "Oh, get the dogs. Like, you need to go get my dogs." And I'm just like, no.
I'm not the maid.
I like just get back in my little beat up Honda Civic and drive off.
I'm glad you stood up for yourself, because that's unbelievable. She probably walks over everybody, and you don't even know her name, and yet here you are being interviewed on one of the most popular shows on Twitch. You showed her.
True that.
Somebody said I'm a B-list celebrity. Excuse me, I'm a D-list celebrity on Twitch. That's the lowest you can go. And I'm proud of that.
I mean, I think like D-list on OnlyFans might be a little bit lower.
I think they make more money though. I think they make more, sadly. Yeah. But yeah, I think we can safely say LA is draining.
It's a weird place.
It's a horrible place. It's a sinful city.
It's funny. I actually really liked living there. I did not so much like working there. It was very just weird. Like, I worked for Sanctuary Clothing for a while when I was there, and the girl that kind of, she wasn't my boss, but she was like, I was kind of her assistant. She would take like giant bong rips in her car and then eat like a loaf cake and then get really sick. And then I would end up like doing a lot of her work, and then she would complain that she just had like really bad stomach aches, and then go back out in her car with bong rips. And that was like a very, like, it happened a lot in a lot of places.
So
I
LA.
like, you so high. Like, why are you taking bong rips like this
In your
before
car.
and yeah?
That's incredible. That was what's Sanctuary Clothing? Is that like a big brand, or is that like a
It's a big brand if you're kind of like a waspy
oh,
beach mom, I guess.
I see. I see. That's
Yeah.
why
There's
I've
maybe like
strayed away.
waspy LA, San Francisco, and like New England beach mom kind of vibe.
Hey, yeah, Mr. Morocco in the chat here says just saw that she did some classical Moroccan tile designs. Nice. That's a quite the endorsement. That's Mr. Morocco. He is the representative of that state. So good
That's
job.
awesome. Yeah, that was actually, it was the one on the main page, like on the home page. I did for Urban, but they ended up not using it. But I really liked it.
Bunch
So
of racist over there. I probably shouldn't say that. But so in LA, you said you freelance for everyone. I know Nasty Gal.
yeah.
That's the girl boss, right?
Yep.
So did you if that is that the book?
Wait, girl.
The movie Girl Boss?
Oh,
My ex made me watch it.
yeah.
I think they made a movie called Girl Boss on her about her. I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah. Oh, someone says fuck Nasty Gal. Everybody's turned on Nasty Gal. I've noticed that in the
Yeah,
press as
it
well.
was really cooler back in the day. Like, it had just become like a big fucking thing.
It was huge
Well,
for a
I
few
did
years.
Hmm?
Yeah, it was huge for a few years. Like it was it was
Yeah,
giant.
yeah, it was like the fucking shit when I like freelanced for them.
Oh damn! And then you freelance for Vans. Everybody knows Vans, and pretty much every fast
Yeah,
fashion mall. So you design.
yeah, pretty much
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
a lot of, yeah, like a lot of shirts is what I think a lot of stuff ended up on, but shirts and dresses for the most part. But yeah, pretty much every like mall brand I've sold artwork to. And that's also kind of like another interesting aspect of fashion. Like, you don't necessarily have to work for one company. There are a lot of like print studios who will just hire like independent artists, and you can sit at home and like make prints at your own pace, and then give them to like the print studio, and the print studio will go out and sell it, and they'll take like a cut off the top, but then give you however much you've
That
worked out in the deal with them.
that rules, and then it shows up
Yeah.
on like a bag or a shirt. Like you don't really have control over what it goes on. You
Yeah,
just
you don't have any control, but it is cool when you're like sitting out somewhere and you're like, oh shit, there's that print that I sold like a year ago, and it's
that.
on like a random t-shirt.
So you could be walking down the mall and see like a lame person wearing a shirt you designed, and you're like, ah, damn it, or a cool person.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually a cool person, so
That's good, especially if it's your designs. Push was wondering. Push has got some awesome questions, so I gotta grab these ones here. What was your favorite project in LA, or did you have any like brands or companies that surprised you in a good way? Because there's so many bad stories out there, right?
ooh, yeah, that is a really good question. I think another reason, so yeah, fast fashion was kind of like, it had sort of hit its peak and was, I feel like fast fashion right now is in its like death throes. Like, a lot of the brands, like the major brands, are kind of going out of business, and I think kind of when I had done a lot of freelancing for them, they were kind of on that downward slope. So there was a lot of just like panic, a lot of like uneasy feeling throughout the company. So I think a lot of my experience might have that kind of tinge over it, which is why I tended to like hop from job to job pretty fast. But I'd say, ooh, that's a really good question.
Good job, Push.
Best, yeah, the best job. Well, actually, the probably most surprising thing for me, I like the last couple months that I was in LA, I was freelancing in office for BCBG, and it actually was like pretty cool. Like, weirdly enough, because the brand itself isn't like super cool. But they did a lot of engineered garments, which is kind of like if you have a pattern and then you have like a seam between the front and the back of your shirt. Engineered garments are when it matches up perfectly, like your pattern will match up completely perfectly. And it was like a thing that was like a thing back in mid 2000s. So like everyone was trying to do it, and there were a lot of wrong ways to go about doing it and a lot of ways that took up a lot of time to do it, and there was like two right ways to do it. And I basically showed, as like a freelancer, I told the lady that was kind of in charge of the textile department, I was like, hey, if you just get the like flat pattern piece, like we can graph it on there and it's a lot easier, because they were like doing this crazy shit by hand. It was like people, they were having to hire multiple freelancers, like their full-time people were just like grinding on the weekends trying to get this stuff done. And I was like, no, there's a way easier way to do this. And so I showed it, it started working, we were like getting the ball rolling, and then don't remember the guy's name anymore, Max Azra, whoever the head of BCBG was, ended up coming over and like personally thanking me.
Hell yeah.
I stay there, which was, I was like, that's kind of cool.
Did they throw a little more cash your way? Because that's the real way to thank. Damn.
That like never happens, to be quite honest. Like, I've learned the hard way. Don't
even
be
try.
an overachiever that much.
Oh yeah.
But,
well, especially if the industry is kind of taking a hit with fast fashion. I'm sure it sucks for you that you're not getting these like the same amount of work. But how do you stand, or where do you stand on fast fashion? Do you think it's immoral?
Oh, God, I hope it fucking dies. Just dies and goes away. It's such a bad industry. Like, not only is it like toxic, I think, to the people that work there, it's just really toxic in the fact that they're like churning out clothes, like chemicals are going into the fucking ocean. Nobody's got oversight on anything. And it's just like, they're just like pumping out shit to see what sticks. And it's just not like a nice holistic way to kind of run businesses. It's also something I really encourage people, like, just, you don't need a lot of clothes. Like, really take stock in your clothes and think about what you actually wear on a day-to-day basis, because the industry is not a clean industry. I think it's like the number 2 polluter in the world. Like, honestly, it is really not good. So I would encourage everyone to buy like natural, buy like wool, cotton. Those are all good, like natural, renewable sources. I encourage people to really like pay attention to that when they're buying clothes, because it's not a good industry.
Absolutely. There's an image that is stuck in my mind. I believe the company, they sell them in grocery store, Joe Fresh. I think it was Joe Fresh.
Joe Fresh, also in LA, and also a really bad company to freelance for.
I just got to say thank you for the big, huge raid from Zach. Zachy boy, I love you. Guys, we got a big interview right now with incredible artist Allison Russell. So definitely stick around, my friends. She's a textile designer, artist, innovator, and a machine knitwear prodigy. I dubbed you that, but I'm calling you that from now on. Because I did the research. You're up there with the best. But we're talking about fast fashion right now, my friends, and she met JLo too, and helped worked on one of her dresses too. But I have this image in my head of Joe Fresh. I think it was Joe Fresh, and I'm gonna turn thank you for the follow. I'm gonna turn that off. Sorry about that, my friend. Very unprofessional. Thank you for the follow. Keep following, my friends. You're used to the professionalism of this stream. Yeah. It's kind of nice without the text to speech for once, eh?
Yeah, I can't. I honestly can't with the TTS.
Mutton Chop said she was also attacked by a pack of small dogs by a D-list celebrity. That's true too. But I think, do you remember when that factory that was, it was basically a sweatshop, I think in Bangladesh, collapsed, and there's that image of people's hands and body parts, and then the Joe Fresh tags everywhere, and like it's just, I had a moment when I saw that. I was like, you know what? Maybe I don't need to buy so much clothes every year.
Yeah, I would really encourage people to just think twice before buying clothes
Just get
because
staples.
it's not
Like
good.
for like
It's not good on every level.
I'm at the point where I've had some shirts for 6 or 7 years, and I think they're gonna last. You get a good shirt, bang it out for 10 years, my friend.
Yeah. No, I definitely like there's something to paying a little bit more for a better quality garment that's going to last you longer versus just like buying a $3 sweater.
Yeah, because
Like
like
don't do
Forever
it.
21 and stuff like that, they just pump out whatever is trendy.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really bad.
I got
Dude, Forever 21 also serial knockoffers.
yes,
They've knocked
yeah.
like so much of my shit. It's not even funny.
Wait, you're one of
Like
the victims of Forever 21?
it was bad. When I was working at Urban, we did a sweater, and like 6 months later, Forever 21, literally, they just enlarged it 10%. Same pattern, same colorway, same stitches,
Wow.
just like 10% bigger. And that was enough to like be enough of a change for them not to get sued. I don't know, but I was just like, are you kidding me?
This is so cool because I read about that or watched a YouTube video about that years ago, and now here I am chatting with a victim of it. That is so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not because they do it to everyone.
That
I think if you talk to a couple other people in the industry, I'm definitely sure I'm not the only one that's happened to.
yeah, there's no way you can. You who are you, like Forever 21 versus Allison Russell in court. I think Forever 21 is gonna win. They got a little more cash on their side.
Actually, they don't because they're bankrupt now.
Oh,
Fuck
that's
them.
true. In your face, Forever
Yeah.
21. The daughter did it. The daughter ruined it, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I gotta do another question here from the chat because this is a really good one. Actually, Mutton said, Johnny, you just need 7 tracksuits one day for each. Okay, Jesus. Okay, Mr. Morocco also says, and this guy's actually fascinating. He says, I saw most of her work involves organic designs, so I wanted to ask, why does she prefer that style to more geometric pattern designs? I'm gonna bring up your website so while you answer that, people can see some of your designs.
No, that's actually a good question. I think probably I'd say I think the reason most of it is organic is just because the last time I did an update on the website, which was like 3 years ago, that was more of a trend. Like the organic kind of like flowy sort of watercolor vibe was definitely more in style than like the ethnic vibe, which was like alive and well for a very long time. I'd say from like 2011 to 2015, 16, 17 even. It was like, my God, just like ethnic, cannot get enough ethnic prints. And then I think like cultural appropriation kind of became on everyone's radar. And it's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't like steal Native American artwork and put it on everything. So it kind of like went to the other end of the spectrum, and it was more just like nice sort of soft watercolors and organic shapes and stuff. But
Yeah.
I don't have any qualms with like, actually I did when I worked for Victoria's Secret Pink, and they're all about geometrics and hibiscus florals. So I did a lot of those there. I just don't have any on the website.
It's a tough issue because, especially with Native American designs, I remember when it was so popular. Every girl at my school had this one coat. The problem is, it looks so awesome. Like God, they're a talented culture. But
No, I am the first to be like, I love ethnic prints. But it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, we probably shouldn't use the like Native American eagle on everything. Like, we've
yeah,
done enough damage already. Let them keep their artwork.
oh yeah, we've done enough. Same like when I see a dude rocking a dashiki, I'm like, God damn, that looks so cool. But I know not to buy one myself.
It was really bad. Actually, I think it was Push who had asked me about the coolest thing in LA. Completely forgot about this, but my best friend and I, we lived in LA for a couple years together, and we had like a really tiny fashion line called First Communion, and we did one fashion show with this other girl whose clothing line, I think it's like How Clothing is the name of it. But she had a stylist come in to like style her line together. I shit you not. It was like my friend and I, we had spent like nights, just like sleepless nights trying to finish the collection to make, we're both like kind of OCD perfectionists. So like everything looked beautiful. It was on point. We were like, shit, this is like a huge deal. We're doing LA Fashion Week with like How Clothing. Oh my fucking God. Like
Wow.
not sleeping, just coffee and like railing cigarettes. We get to the show. The fucking stylist, my dude, white boy with a fucking like turban, wearing, I don't even remember the like what the actual name of it is, but it's like the African garb with
Oh
like
yeah.
the African prints on it and like a curled up mustache. And I was just like, are you kidding me right now? Like, this is so inappropriate. But
Like
that was probably my actual coolest thing that I did in LA.
that is so yeah, you're like, are you doing like a Borat thing? Like that's that
I was appalled. Like, my friend and I were like, this is so inappropriate. Like, girl, no.
yeah, it's I hear you. I hear you. I ever since my recent breakup, I've been having like a cultural identity crisis. Like, am I still allowed to listen to reggaeton? I mean, it's been 10 years, so I'm going through that. But J Balvin recently did a music video where he was dressed up like a leprechaun, and they sampled some flute music. So it's a cultural exchange, I believe.
Yeah. All right.
And
Okay.
I Rocket just said I can. Okay, so we're still good. Um, so you've literally worked everywhere. Oh, I like this. I thought this was in your bio here. I thought this was great. Now the chat's gonna get very upset when I say this. But yes, your now husband, boyfriend at the time, they're gonna be upset because they've been asking if you're single the entire time. But sorry, chat. He got a job out away from LA. Am I allowed to say the PA area?
Yeah, we kind of switched. So we weren't dating. We'd been friends for a while. We've been friends for a really long time, and we met in North Carolina when I lived there. And then I moved to LA, and he ended up moving up to Pennsylvania. And eventually, he called me and was like, "Hey, we're friends. Like, just come out here. Let's get together and see what happens." And so we ended up, I applied to places in Pennsylvania and like the New Jersey area. And then he ended up applying to places in California and like San Francisco and like LA area. And just so happens, I got a job at Urban, which is in Philly. And then like 4 months later, he got a job in San Francisco and we like swapped
Oh,
places.
jeez. Oh, I had it confused. I thought you followed into that area.
I was like, this is so much like extraneous information. I'm not even going to put it in, but yeah, we like flipped places. And then about a year and a half later, we were like, okay, we're going to move up to New York and do this. So then we moved up to New York.
Oh,
And
cool. Because I was gonna say, I was gonna say, like I think it's like kind of cool that it seemed like you followed him there, and I was gonna say you're in LA, you're killing it, you're such a strong, independent woman. I thought it was kind of cool that you guys. It's very cute story, but then you did move to the New York area, so that's cool. And when you say urban, you mean Urban Outfitters, right?
Urban Outfitters.
How was working for them? A lot of hipsters.
Oh, God, it was so bad. Like, I mean, to be honest, I actually really loved the job like the job that I was doing, because it's so in fashion, everything's very segmented. Like, typically, if you're a textile artist, you're a textile artist. If you're a knitwear designer, you're a knitwear designer. There really isn't a lot of overlap. But at Urban, they eventually like let my position kind of do an overlap, which like I was so fucking excited about. But the actual like work environment at Urban was not good. Like, there's no HR department. There was like
Oh,
rampant sexual harassment. My boss was like in this weird forced relationship with the design director because he was like, the only way I promote people is if you sleep with me. Ha ha ha.
every
Yeah,
hipster company is like this. American Apparel, all of them. I think
it was.
hipsterism is just I've had this theory for years. I think hipsterism is just an excuse for dudes who can't get laid, non-Chad dudes but got some Chad energy, setting up a pyramid scheme to get laid. Like Dove Charney from American Apparel would never get laid in a just world.
Like, I was so creepy.
Did you have to
American. I've
deal with
never
him?
met the American Apparel guy, but no, I knew a lot of people that worked with him
Oh
though, and
yeah.
they were like, he's creepy as fuck.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a creeper.
Yeah. His and I didn't like his
Dude, the
ads
design
either.
director, so bad. Oh, I know.
Oh yeah. So I
Yeah.
knew Urban was gonna have some of the same. Yeah, I'm telling you, hipsterism is just a pyramid scheme for dudes to get laid, but it makes cool clothes sometime. And but you're not gonna get sued for making fun of Urban, right? I don't get you in trouble here.
No, it was funny. That guy, that dude dug his own fucking grave, man. He like fucked over so many people, mostly women. Like fucked them and then fucked them over. But he like it was funny when I put in my 2 weeks because I was like, fuck this, I'm moving up to New York to be with my boyfriend at the time, now husband. Like I'm done with this. It's really toxic. Like I enjoy the work that I'm doing here, but the environment that I was in was like not good. It was just like really stressful, really awkward. So I put in my 2 weeks. The girl who sat next to me, who was kind of the like project coordinator for the team, she also put in her 2 weeks. And then like when we were our like small team of 4 girls went out to have like drinks for like, hey, our last hurrah together. Our boss, who was like in this weird forced relationship with the design director, was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm in such a weird place. And she's just like sobbing, like she's fucking wasted and sobbing into my like white scarf that I had. And she like smeared all of her black makeup into it. And I was just like, girl, you need to leave. So she eventually left like a month after that, thank God. He eventually like worked his way around the company to a couple other girls. He ended up with one girl who was, I feel like, the design director for the women's team at the time, who was married. Also, he was married with 2 kids.
Jesus.
Side note. He was like hooking up with this other girl at Urban. The girl's husband found out and like blew him up on Instagram and just like was tagging. He like tagged the CEO of Urban. He tagged the like head design director of Urban. He tagged the guy. He tagged the wife. He just fucking tagged everything
Damn.
and everybody. And it was just like you're a fucking terrible person. You're like fucking all these girls. You're married. He apparently at one point like went over and told the guy's wife what he was doing. It was like a whole thing, and like everybody
There's
ended up
so
leaving.
many psychopaths in fashion. Oh my gosh.
It was really bad.
Oh my god. Well,
yeah.
jeez. Good thing I never went into modeling. I didn't have a chance. But
I
that's
feel like the models like kind of got out all right. Well, I mean, minus so at Victoria's Secret, the models were being like bad things were happening to them.
well,
with
actually,
the photographer.
I wanted to get into that next. Oh, sorry. They were doing what with the photographers?
It was
Like
I'm not.
Richardson?
It was bad. Bad things were happening to like the underage models at Victoria's Secret. Like the photographer was doing bad things to them. It leaked maybe like a year or two ago what was like going on. It was not good.
Oh my god. Whatever happened to just old fashioned? You meet a lady, you do missionary, you have 10 kids on the farm. I don't know. Society's weird. But I wanted to ask is so you worked at Victoria's Secret Pink. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm just like, thank God. My husband and I talk about it all the time. We're like, thank God we're not single because I don't think I could survive.
Oh,
Not survive single.
Yeah, it's good. It's got to be a rough world. The 60s happened, is what Zero says. Johnny, I don't like where this is going. What? Okay, so Victoria's Secret Pink, was that a toxic place as well, or I assumed it's all ladies?
It actually it wasn't bad. So when I first moved up to New York, I freelanced there for a really long time, and it was like great. I loved freelancing. And weirdly enough, like everybody that kind of worked for Pink was very like alternative, cool person, just like very down to earth, very normal. But when I was working there, they didn't have full-time positions available. So I just like, I needed health insurance. I needed like a full-time position. So I was applying to other places, eventually got hired full-time at American Eagle. That went sideways pretty quick because the girl that I directly reported into was like psychotic. And I was like, oh, you're crazy.
Seems
you
to be
are
a trend here.
Yeah, so lasted about a year there, and then around the same time, my old boss from Victoria's Secret called me, and she's like, "Hey, we have full-time positions, come back." So I ended up going back to work there, but she ended up not being my boss. I reported into this other person who was just like, long story short, I got written up for being too masculine for the brand towards like the end of my time there. Yeah,
That's a
super awkward
what?
conversation to have with HR.
Isn't
Super
that a
awkward.
lawsuit right there? You could. Oh my gosh. That too. First off, I don't. Not that it doesn't matter if anyone's too masculine or too feminine. That those are old school labels. But you don't strike me as the broad shouldered masculine type.
I mean, I think he was just like pissed that I never wore a dress into work. I'm not really
Oh
sure,
my
but
god.
it
Was it
got like, super awkward, and I was like, I need to get out of. That was pretty much the point where I was like, I need to get out of fast fashion
seems like
and like
Mad
look
Men.
for a different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my god, damn it. I knew this was guys, I knew this was going to be a fascinating interview. I knew there was going to be some crazy ass stories. That damn it. And oh my god. So, yeah, we're not going to say where you currently work now, but you've somehow found a position where you can combine all your expertise and all the past experiences, the good ones mostly, and you're in
yeah.
a way better place,
It's,
right?
thank God, really enjoy where I work now. I moved into like the outdoor sector, so it's a lot more like focused on sustainability, like rah rah rah. We don't like throw shit at a wall to see what sticks. We're like very thoughtful about what we make. Yeah, it's a lot better.
And I
A
think a
lot
lot of
better.
people are going that lifestyle too. I think the one with nature, going camping, I think it's very peaceful. It's almost like yeah,
Yeah,
van life too has made that look very big.
I fucking hate van life.
Man, when I a
We have to
couple
work with people, and I fucking hate all of
yeah,
them.
there's something about them that makes me want to rip their eyes out. I don't know why. And they're not as friendly as they seem in their YouTube videos.
They're not.
So I live in front of a
They're
parking
oh my
lot. Yeah, I live in front of a parking lot, and I had a few drinks. This is right when I moved back home, so a couple weeks back. I saw one of these big ass van life people pull in, and I'm like, "Howdy, what's your YouTube?" And they kind of put me on the pay no mind list, and I'm like, "Excuse me, you're supposed to be van life. We could have a campfire," and they were kind of dicks to me.
they're so rude. They really are. They're like so fucking. It's like part of me completely understands it. It's like I don't have money to buy a house, so I'm just gonna like sink my money into this van, and that's gonna be my house. But they're just so like pretentious, I want
Yeah,
to say, and just like rude and entitled. And we've had to work with so many of them, and I'm just like, you guys, like, fucking pull your head out of your ass. Like, it's not a
exactly.
cute look.
Oh, you've got a
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
Like you're like, what? Excuse me. I don't shower in Walmart. Yeah, that's fine. Half the reason I left photography was the negative nature. Yes, models are attractive people, and no, that doesn't make content for your overly sexually. Oh yeah, I guess this. I guess, damn, this whole. Wait, so this whole world is all connected. Advertising. I have a degree in public relations. I'm trying to boost my resume up and get back in, get my or throw my hat in the ring here, and maybe get to an agency. Are you telling me I should just stay away from this creep-filled careerist culture? Because it seems to be all the same.
It's just,
Photography, art.
yeah, it's very, like, they definitely orbit each other. I don't know. I think it's definitely going to be a different experience for you. I'm sure being like a guy, being more in like the PR side of things. I think those type of jobs are alive and well. Like the guy that does our like he's like the talent coordinator, I guess is his name. He basically like fluffs the athletes that we work with. Like dude's kind of a piece of shit, but like he's I don't know. I don't actually know even how he has a job, but somehow he does, and somehow he makes a lot of money. And those are jobs that are out there for people still.
Yeah, I
So
want one of those made up. I want one of those like That's not a real job, but it is jobs. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, it's like I encourage people if you're like really into some like weird niche shit, like there's probably a fucking job for you. Like somewhere somebody needs that weird thing that you're into and somebody will pay you for it.
Well, that's what I found so inspiring about you is that you were into you got into knitting and machine
Yeah,
knitting, and you've turned that into a career. And I think a lot of the young people out there like need to hear that. Like if you're into a certain thing, just
yeah.
be the guy. If you like yeah, if you're into knitting, get into knitting, and you might end up like a cool ass chick like you.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things like machine knitting is really it's a dying thing, and even a lot of the like knitwear designers that I've worked with don't actually understand how knitwear works or like how knitting and stitches work together. It's very technical, and a lot of times like I'm going to say 90% of the designers I've run into, what they end up doing is just like they'll take a picture of something that they think is really cool and they'll be like, I want the factory in China to figure out how to make this and put it into like a garment for me. And if you actually know how to like the like technical things behind knitting, you're like miles ahead of a lot of people.
No, that's
But I think there are a lot of jobs like that that they've kind of been like dumbed down and simplified over the years. But if you kind of understand like the backstory, the history, like the technical things that are involved in it, you're going to be a lot further along than a lot of people.
damn, guys, I'm telling you, if you have an interest in something different, just roll with it. Just roll
Yeah.
with it.
I mean, look, I know people that draw furries for a living and they make a lot of money.
Oh,
Just going to throw that out there.
jeez. And
Yeah.
what the hell was I doing labor for 10 years? I drawing furries? I got to pick up the pencils again. I could do that. Uh,
Yeah. I think there was like a Reddit post about it too recently where people were like, dude, furry people are willing to pay. They are willing to pay for that weird fucking unicorn dog situation.
honestly, I've like with the furry thing, it's is it wolves? I'm not sure what it is, but I've tried to look at them and I've tried.
You want to be.
Yeah, well, I've looked and I'm like, could I be into this? And I just, it's like I've never gone to a baseball game and wanted to bone the mascot. They look like mascots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
um, now do you, so you got me into a new form of art that I actually have fallen in love with now. That's textile artist. Do
Yeah.
you do art as well, or do you when you say you're a textile artist, you're mostly it's so you know you do like I came
Yeah.
across
So the
oh sorry go ahead.
you go ahead.
No I talk too much. You go ahead. Tell us about your art.
Yeah, so like I said before, typically like textile, like I'm painting and the like picture that I painted is going to get printed on a piece of fabric is in a very separate world than like knit design, even though visually to a lot of people, I'm sure it looks same. It's very technically different things that go into each thing. But like, so for my job currently, I actually do both. It's like a random skill set that I just happen to have skill sets for both things. So like that works there, but I still freelance for print companies who just buy my artwork and go around and like sell it to different fashion companies.
That is awesome. So you can spend a whole day just working on a piece and then hope it gets picked up. Probably will.
Myself do that. I usually give myself like a 2 hour window. I'm just gonna so typically for if you're freelancing for a print company, one print they'll sell for it usually sells between like $500 and $700 per print. They usually get half. So you usually get between like 250 and 300 per print. So I try to limit my time to like 2 to 3 hours per print that I work on.
Oh, nice. You know what I thought was cool when I was looking up textiles and textile artists is that the history of it goes back and so far. Like you're looking at there's like Egyptians, like Tibetans. Oh, like I could not believe it's all over the world. And then it's still the artists today are coming from those parts making it's just like it's such a connection throughout history, and I think it's so cool that you're keeping that alive.
Yeah, it's definitely cool, dude. Also, if you've never seen Raoul Duffy, he's probably my favorite textile artist.
Wait,
It's
uh
it's RAUL space DUFFY, I think.
I was looking up a
But he
bunch of
was
them. I don't know, I didn't come
popular back
across
in.
him.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think he's one of the more famous ones, but he definitely has a very like Matisse vibe to a lot of his artwork, and it was very popular between like 1940 and 1960. But it's just like it also kind of like looks like my hand a lot, so it's kind of folky. It's fun. It's kind of like weird. Yeah, it's one of my favorite guys.
That's okay. So from my research today, and I'm not even just blowing smoke out here. It actually like I'm blown away by this. Faith Ringgold, the Harlem artist and activist, she was hers is amazing. I came across a quote that like really moved me here. She said, "What?" Because she does quilts,
Mm-hmm.
like wall quilts. So she says, "When viewers are looking at my work, they're looking at a painting." And they're able to accept it better because it's also a quilt. And then she used her quilt as activism, but she thought I can get this message out to more people because then they can wrap themselves in it.
That's fucking cool.
Isn't
Yeah,
that badass?
like textile artists are. I feel like I've not met like a shitty textile artist. For the most part, like everyone that I've met is really cool, and they're all just like weird girls.
Yeah,
There's a lot of weird, crusty girls that are into it.
it's very female dominated, but the ideas and the culture around it is so cool. There's one more I fell in love with. I'm gonna say her name wrong. Billy Zangua, some from she's Malawian. I'm saying that wrong,
Mhm.
but she's really cool because she was saying, so she noticed that the tapestries. Well, she knew tapestries were like for grand religious and mythological scenes for kings, and she took it and then just started putting like her reading a magazine on the porch or her son running into the kitchen, and I was like, that is like that's how you change everything. Just take like that idea alone is just like I'm going to take the most boring mundane part of life, put it where this is supposed to be for kings and queens and gods, and make it the most meaningful. Like that's the whole point of life. It's just it's so cool.
Yeah, I've seen her stuff. So every year there's like this giant knitwear convention in Milan, and we went back in January, like right before COVID happened. But I think they had a lot of her display out at the convention,
Oh,
and
that
it's really
rules.
cool. I know, like those old kind of like heraldic, like medieval banners, and then she just does like fun kind of everyday scenes in them.
That it is so cool. I'm actually going to put this article in the chat right now for people to check out because it will make you fall in love with this art, especially if you're naive like me and didn't know it existed, or didn't realize the impact. It's really cool to read and exciting. I'm going to bring up your Instagram here now. Is this your design work? Like um,
Yeah, the
I
I
love it.
don't know. I definitely got off social media like right after college because I was a crazy girl. I was definitely like stalker mode. So I kind of realized I was like, this is not a cute look. Like I need to just get off social media. So didn't have social media for like the longest time, and then I just got tired of people being like, "What's your Instagram? What's your Instagram? What's your Instagram?" And I was like, "Okay, fuck it. Like I'll start an Instagram."
Yeah,
And then I just like I feel like a lot of my creative energy gets kind of stuck into work. So it's usually either like knit or textile. And then at the end of the day, like I end up not wanting to do that, like for an Instagram account or just for like personal stuff. So that kind of just like morphed into this weird, like, I'm on my phone, I'm like fucking up photos and like glitching photos.
I
And
love it.
that's
I,
where that came
it
from.
is it is so cool. I hear you with the um I'm trying to stop checking my phone so much. I see who's looking at my stuff. I will post stuff to get a reaction out of somebody. You probably know what I'm talking about. And I'm
Yeah.
trying to stop. But you're right. It's so unhealthy. But this, I think you're doing the right path. Do you
With
just
that,
do this on like Illustrator, or like do you just have an app, or what's your main?
no, actually, so for the stuff on Instagram, a lot of it I do in between. There's an app called Glitch. I do a lot in there, and then I do a lot in this other app that's called Snapseed. But some of it is like my artwork that I've done in Photoshop and then like exported it out and kind of like fucked with it in one of the apps. But yeah, it's usually just like me laying in bed at like midnight, not being able to sleep, and then I'm like, okay, let me just like fuck with a picture for a while.
This is it's I absolutely love it. I love the theme of your Instagram. I think you rule. I think everyone should go follow salad underscore of underscore despair on Instagram. There you go. Shaking Out just did a highlight. But wow, yeah, it's just awesome. We got to get those numbers up though. We got to get those numbers up.
I don't ever post to, which is another
You
problem.
posted
I
yesterday.
yeah
I checked. I did my research one day
yeah
ago.
time this year, or maybe like the second of this year.
It-
I've just been like I need to like update my website too, and I think for me like for my own stuff, usually like if I work a lot better in collaboration with other people because I feel like I can read minds when it comes to artwork. I'm like, oh, I know what you need. Like, give me 2 words and a picture, and I know what you need. But like with my own stuff, I really like to think about it and be really like thoughtful and make sure everything like is perfect. But I kind of want to like redo the website and then redo the Instagram and tie them together in a thoughtful way because they're just kind of two separate things currently. Like they
Oh,
don't really.
maybe keep it a little more on brand. They're both great as their own, but I see what you mean. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, on brand is a very good way to put it.
Guys, look at
They're
look
very
at
two
these
separate
prints.
brands currently.
Yeah, I hear you, but I think once you pull it together, it's gonna be huge. But look at these prints. Aren't these amazing? Like, look at that dress.
Dude, I have so many fucking prints. It's like I have like an external hard drive with hundreds of prints on it.
That is so cool.
It's
That is so wow. Look at that one. Oh my god, shaking out. Look at that. Johnny knows I love a good print. Oh yeah, you know what? I think I don't know, but I could see you collabing with some future entrepreneurs. Shaken Out is quite the budding entrepreneur, and I don't know. Shaken Out, didn't you find this interview inspiring? I'm telling you, I absolutely love it. So
holler.
now I know you're very busy. I've kept you over an hour here. Do you have anything else? Just because I'm trying to do this whole stay positive, self care, go. You can be whoever you want to be as long as you keep focused on it. What would you say to the young entrepreneurs out there like yourself?
Yeah, I'd say if there's something that you really enjoy doing, just like even if it's like weird or niche, there's probably a fucking job out there. Like there are buyers in design. If you like shopping, you can grow up, go to college, become a buyer. You can like buy the clothes and determine what goes into the stores. Like that's a job. Like drawing pictures for a living, that's a job. Like it might not be obvious, but if you do your research and just keep at it and keep grinding, there's definitely going to be some job out there for you. I guarantee it.
That's awesome. I wish somebody was there to tell me that when I was younger because I just went into labor and I had no
I really
idea.
yes, there is, however weird or esoteric or fucking random it might be, like there is a job for that.
And there's still time, right? This is my own question. I'm 32. I can still break into the creative industry, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you honestly haven't really left. Like, you've been doing Twitch, which I fucking couldn't do. Like, I tried to do it for a while and was like, oh God, this is overwhelming. I
Well,
need to, like,
it's
back
harder for the
figure my
ladies.
shit out.
especially when you were
Yeah,
doing it, they were very aggressive, the viewers. But you're coming back on Twitch, right? So everybody follow this account.
yeah, I think I've kind of like, it's sort of with the website and the Instagram, I'm sort of getting like a vague, hazy visual of like where I think I want to go. And I've got like the overlay and I've got an updated Twitch banner and I've kind of got my shit together. And maybe not so much machine knitting. I might do like one or like a couple streams doing machine knitting, but that was what I was doing before. And it was just, I get like I have to focus. It's a very manual thing and it requires a lot of focus and attention. So it would just be me like silently running the carriage back and forth across the knitting machine and like
It'd be like an
ignoring everything.
ASMR. Yeah. Maybe you could put some
Yeah,
music on in the background and just ignore the chat.
yeah, but I think that's the thing. Like, I enjoy going into people's chats where they like interact with it, which I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun. Like, talk back to me, be snarky. But I was very much like not that, and then like just weird people would come in and say
Oh
like
yeah.
weird fucked up shit, and I was like, okay, this is not working.
Yeah, I think Twitch is getting a little bit better too, and people are cultivating better communities, and I think people would love to, especially this community, would love to have you to see you stream, and we're here to help in any way. Host with the most. So when you're ready, I do have to open up a couple questions to the chat though because they're dying. So let's go, chat. Any questions, chat? I ignored so many because we were in the who did her haircut. Jeez. Did you design it yourself or did you go somewhere?
It's actually, I pulled a picture from an old Grimes video. It wasn't Grimes, it was like a girl in the video had the haircut, and I was like, this is my haircut that I want.
That's cool.
And then I had like a up hairdresser in New York do it, and then found another hairdresser here to continue
Nice.
the
I was
hair.
gonna say you can't do that fade in quarantine. That is a professional fade. And you know what? I hate that people hate Grimes. I don't mind Grimes at all. I think she's cool. It's very hip to hate Grimes for some reason. Shaq wants to
Well,
know.
Elon Musk's baby, which I find
Actually,
very weird.
honestly though, I kind of gotta respect the hustle. But Elon Musk, as I always say, more like Elon Huss. That guy's corny. He's very corny. Shaq says, "Will you be friends with my wife?"
Yeah.
He's a normal
That's
guy.
like another thing when I kind of also got back on Twitch was because when we moved here, like I love living in Boulder, but there's not like a diverse set of people where there was in like New York and LA. And I was just like, I need like normal people that I would fucking hang out with to talk to again, and like got back on Twitch. So yeah, I'm literally here. Like I have one friend in Boulder.
Oh, you know what? I was just daydreaming there for a second because I used to spend time with this beautiful lady, and I would bite her shoulder on the mattress that she stole from her roommate back in Boulder, and I'll never forget her. I'll never forget her. I'm sorry. I had to say it. I had to say it. They love your hair. They want to know why I don't pay you. Let's not get into that. What do you think of hemp fabric? Mutton Chops is dying to know about hemp fabric. Is this a thing?
Yeah,
In?
it feels really nice. It's super soft. And it's like sustainable, renewable. I my whole thing is like just really think twice before buying like polyester or synthetic because it's plastic. You're putting plastic on your body. That stuff comes off in the washing machine. It goes back into the ocean.
Oh, damn. I didn't even think about that. Where did you get your name from? Probably her parents. Oh, your username.
Oh, yeah. No, the username is from a Thomas Pynchon book. It was referring to like also backstory. My mom was like a little bit of a hoarder, and our car was always just like filthy. And I'm like, it might have been growing up in that environment kind of made me a little OCD, and like I need things to be clean. But it used to really bother me the sides like in between the seats in the car. You know how like shit always it's like
Oh, yeah.
gross, crumbs, dirt, like cigarette ashes, like straw wrapping paper, like French fries and shit. Like I just like a very like vivid memory for me in childhood was like that fucking section in the car. And in the book, Thomas Pynchon was writing, but it was referring to that like the salad of despair, which is like all the dirt and grime that's in the car right there. And I
And
was
he
like,
called it the
oh,
salad of
that's
despair.
amazing.
It cut out. So he was actually referring to that spot in the car. That's
Yeah.
that's
Like
amazing.
all the shit that is in there, like a salad of despair, because it's just like the fucking like nasty French fry, like that nasty French fry that has fallen in there and is like desiccated, and like
Yes.
the dirt and gross shit that's down there.
I like find it like in my car I had it so clean even because it was just a shit car, but my way of controlling the inside, and I never could see the passenger side, and then one day I got in the passenger side and it was just the plastic that I like taken aback. I was like, this is in my car, and it still to this day, the salad of despair.
That's what it is. I was like, that's the perfect name for it.
That, oh my gosh, it's giving me just chills. I am so excited to design my new apartment. I'm going full minimal. I that's I guess you can't really go full minimal when you have like 10 knitting machines, but I bet you're opposite a hoarder after your experience, right?
It's yeah. I mean, my husband definitely has qualms with the amount of knitting machines. We have like two set up here. This is like our office, but there's two set up here, and then there's another three kind of in our basement that we have.
That
But
rules.
it's clean. Hey, there's not. There's only three down there. He's saying there's four. There's three.
Hey
Oh, machine.
hubby. Everyone in the chat, can we get a booyah in the chat for hubby? Are you gonna show us? Oh, there's my new best friend. What's up, hunk? I heard that you often get man crushed on, so I'm ready.
He does. He's nodding. He's yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's playing competitive Overwatch right now.
I
So.
was wondering what he was doing. I thought he was either like
He's
doing
the
super good work.
fucking typing.
Does he stream? He's got
Yeah.
the computer for it. He does?
Out to Tough Pat.
That's his name on Twitch?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. We should. I'll definitely follow him. Can we get a shout out? What's his name again?
Tough Pat.
Tough Pat.
TOUGHPAT.
Can somebody do a shout out? Because I'm because and let's go get him. Let's go get him a bunch of follows right now. That rules. Well, you guys are gonna take over Twitch. Do we have any more questions from the chat? You're asking the teenage boys questions. What? Johnny's so minimal he doesn't even have an apartment. Oh, that's hurtful. Okay, there we go. There's the shout out for Tough Pat. Let's go drop some follows right here. Oh, he's not live, but he'll wake up to them.
Yeah.
Pay her. Yes, I do want to say thank you so much
It's
for
good.
all the help.
I'm actually being paid technically because I am working.
Perfect.
So it's all good. And like we're good.
And I don't want to have to say this, but they're going to make this a meme and I'm going to lose followers. I did send a gift. I'm not making a lot of money right now. I'm in a crisis of my life, but when I make it, and I think I'm going to make it in something, we're going. I'm buying everyone Honda Civics.
I love a good Honda Civic.
Me too. I hate that there's like who needs a Mercedes? You rocking one right now?
I fucking love. No, we have a Subaru like everyone else in Boulder.
Oh
Subaru
yeah,
Outback, but
with the top rack for the skis. Yeah. But honestly, I like this Honda Civic. Sorry, pardon me. Sorry.
Fuck skiing.
Oh, fuck skiing. Not a fan. Do you snowboard?
No. I'm like not. It's funny. Like I work for an outdoor company, but like I do not like going outside. Like I'm not a camper. I'm not like a hiker. My husband very much is. So I get all my like info from him. I'm like, what do I do when I go hiking? Like tell me because I need to know for my job.
Yeah, it is.
But,
it is weird.
not
To me, the
outdoorsy
woods.
girl.
Yeah, the woods are a place to do mushrooms.
I just like I'm terrified that like Bigfoot's gonna eat me.
Oh, I
I
believe.
just need 4 walls and a locked door to sleep.
Hell yeah, I hear you. I hear you. What does
So,
what do you do fun other than art and work? Is what the chat is asking.
ooh, I don't know. We watch a lot of like trashy television. I'm a
Like,
big fan of just like trash TV.
were we talking Vanderpump?
I don't know what that
Oh,
is. Is that
Vanderpump Rules is good, but it's kind of coming to the end. A bunch of them got canceled. What's your favorite trash TV?
we've been watching recently. Ooh, actually, really trashy that we watched recently was Legend of the Monkey King, I think, or maybe just Monkey King. But it's on Netflix, but it's the remake of the original, which is what fucking Dragon Ball Z was based off of. But it's like really bad. It's like Hercules back in the day, like Xena Hercules kind of level bad. But that's
Oh,
where I
I thought you were going to be talking Love Island. That actually sounds kind of cool, though. Monkey King.
Oh yeah, I not so much reality television, but just like really bad sci-fi and fantasy is like where my heart lies.
That is so fun. So they're trying to get me to watch Lord of the Rings. Where do you stand? I will do it if you tell me to. Nope, not doing it. That's if she's into fantasy and she said no to Lord of the Rings, not doing it.
I mean, it's maybe like if you've never seen it, like give it a whirl. Maybe not all in one day because that's a little intense, but
I get too worked
it's
up by all the
fine.
elf babes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. This is the longest interview we've done, but it was awesome, and I'm gonna get my mods to drop your website in the chat right now. And this was awesome. Is there any other questions, my friends? Good ones, not not the ones Benny is saying. But yeah, other than that, you rule. And like I said, I think it's so cool, your path in life, and you got such good energy, and you're a talented mofo, and you rule, Salad. Or I'll go back to calling you Salad, but last time I'll call you Allison Russell. Cool name too.
It's funny. Actually, it's kind of like nice when you Google me, it's some other girl who's a singer that pops up. So,
Nice. All right. Now, well, we got a pretty good community. They'll just check out your art. Awesome. Any
yeah.
last words?
No, this was fun. Thanks for having me on.
Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. You rule, Salad. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Peace out.
Bye.
Wow. That was